Welcome to the very first live podcast here in studio. We're about to have some fun tonight. I have a few topics that we're going to be going into. Of course, as you guys read the title, I am going to be talking about the future of what I'm going to be doing with Randonautica and probably a lot of other things as well. We will get into all of that. We're going to bring up some fun things to talk about, things that, stories about the past and travel and all the sorts of things that you guys probably like. I am here with my good friend and co-host, Moshio.
Well, hello there, Internet. Today
Hello.
we are live for the first time. This is very exciting. I think this is my first time being live on YouTube. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak very lowly and closely to all of you. I just wanted to let everybody know today that we are not sponsored, but I am still drinking this fizzy drink that I will not be telling you the name of.
It's fizzy bubbly? Is that what the term was?
Fizzy bubbly diet, fizzy bubbly.
What movie was that from?
I don't know.
I think it was The Dictator.
Oh, maybe.
Or something.
I don't remember.
I don't know either.
Did I watch that one? I don't know.
I have no idea. But,
I don't know. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for watching. We're very excited to have you here, to talk to you, to talk to each other live. This is really cool. I'm ready.
Yeah, this is the first time we've ever done anything like this. I did one live on my my vlog channel just to kind of test out the system, because my only thing that I was kind of stressing about was going to be our internet here, because we're in a pretty old building, and Bell hooked it up and gave us exactly what we needed, and I think it's literally just enough to be able to pull off a live stream here. So
we are never ever upgrading to 8K video streams.
No, we can't. We can't
Not
do
until
that,
we move into the next place, whenever that happens.
Pretty much. I mean, what I'd like to do one day is just buy a really big property and then just build our own standalone building, because then at that point we don't got to worry about surrounding noises.
Right.
We don't got to worry about people banging on doors and people using the hand dryer up the hall and stuff like. Because I was.
Have you heard it?
Yeah, I was in here the other day, and somebody was doing. I mean, I wasn't filming anything, but I was in here and there was somebody using the hand dryer. I'm like, damn, that's loud.
Right.
Yeah, because it's like one of those really old hand dryers.
Yeah.
So we are live in studio. Here is our other camera angle. So basically how this is going to work is we have a bunch of stuff that we want to talk about. Honestly, we've got so many topics. See, I told you this thing is already making some noise, right?
It is. I can hear it.
It's I don't know what's going on here. But yeah, so basically how this is going to work for podcast lives is the first hour and a half, we are probably going to run through all the topics that we want to talk about for the show. And then the last half an hour is basically going to be us engaging with you. We'll be reading your super chats, any of your comments, and all of those fun things. Yeah, I guess we'll just leave it alone. I don't know. It's super annoying,
See
but
if that fixes it.
it's okay. I don't think that the audio really picks it up too much.
No, I think we're just hearing it outside of the headphones.
Probably, yeah. But it seems to only do it when we do it live. But is what it is.
Very good.
Yeah. So my house is haunted. I don't know if you remember this this incident.
I can't. I kind of recall, just based on what we were saying a second ago.
Yeah.
I was in, okay, so it was just the two of us at your place. I was in the garage, which is our normal hangout spot when we were there. I think you said you were upstairs?
Yeah, I don't know where, we went somewhere that day. I think we might have been working on something, and we came back to my house. I was up in my room changing, and I heard somebody in the kitchen. That's what I recall, because I remember, because my bedroom is right above my kitchen, so I heard something move, like somebody walking around, so automatically I assumed it was you, and I went down and you were not there, and I was like, okay, what was that?
Right. I'm not the kind of person that would just walk into your kitchen and move around it. No, not that you would think that, but that's, it's not something I would do.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe you came in to grab some water or something, but yeah, I just remember walking into the kitchen, and we have those old school drape things, and basically they were like kind of swaying back and forth, and I'm like, what? Like clearly something was just in here. So, and then I went out into the garage, and you were just sitting in the garage.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did you just come inside? And you're like, nah, dude, I've been sitting here the entire time. I remember you were just sitting there on your phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, clearly that wasn't Mo. But
was that the blinds beside the picture of Padre Pio?
Yes. And that is one of our future topics. I don't know if we're going to have time to bring it up on this episode. But so the reason why I think my house is haunted is just because it was my grandfather's home. And I do still believe 100% that he's still lingering. Like he's still around, and maybe he's kind of going through the motions. And the interesting thing is he used to do this thing where he would stand at the window at the back of the house, and he would basically stare out the window for no reason. I don't know what he was looking for, but he would just stare like calmly, and he'd just be like with his hands in his pocket, like constantly jingling things, like fidgeting with stuff, right? So I don't know. The other reason why I think is because the first spirit box I ever acquired, which was the old school SB7, some of you guys here might know what that is, but basically that spirit box, when I first got it, I unpackaged it, and I was sitting at the desk, and basically I opened it up, put in the batteries, whatever, and started figuring out how to make it work. And I wasn't like filming or anything, and just I kind of asked, is there anybody here with me? And it said no. Now, for those of you who know what no is in Italian, it means grandfather. So I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting, and I remember talking about it on the vlog channel at some point. But yeah, it was fun. It was a cool experience.
I can give some insight as to maybe why he was standing there at the window just looking out. So I have from time to time, and actually funny story about Father's Day, I've been from time to time been seen just standing in our garage at home, just like kind of like looking up or like looking off into space. So my wife for Father's Day got me two t-shirts. One, the one I'm wearing right now, which I don't know how well you can see it. It says Super Daddy-O with like a Super Mario. And
that's
that.
like one of the coolest shirts ever.
And she got my baby's name printed at the bottom of it.
Oh, wow.
I won't show you. I'll show you after. But another t-shirt she got made was one that says, I'll be in the garage, because I just randomly, like, it's not random. What I'm doing is I'm standing there and I'm looking at like the things I built, like the shelves I built, and I'm like planning out other things that I like want to do.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that maybe he was kind of like, yeah, you know, maybe I could raise the garden up, maybe I could put the shed over here and stuff. Like maybe he was just like planning things out, or not. He's just finding peace in his garden.
Possibly, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It was just kind of like, I guess he was just maybe admiring his lawn or something. I mean, back when he was still around. But I do actually have a crazy story. So I call it the light bulb incident. We've had multiple paranormal incidences in my house, and the one that I do very much remember is basically, do you remember like going into my basement? There's like the landing area, and there's like a light bulb there. So that light bulb burnt out, and it was burnt out for like the longest time ever. And my grandfather was the type of person that if something broke, he would fix it immediately. It was not broken for more than like 45 minutes, right? So, and he was also like the jack of all trades. Everybody knew that about him, that he could do pretty much everything except for electrical, because he just didn't need to, because, you know, his son and son-in-law were both electricians, so he just didn't need to know electrical.
That's right.
So the light bulb incident. So this light bulb, the landing part of the stairs going into the basement, had burnt out, and basically we didn't know like where the light bulbs were. Like nobody was really doing anything about it to change this stupid bulb. And my mom goes into the garage one day and basically sees a brand new light bulb just sitting there on this wooden bench thing that my grandfather had built many years ago. And she's like, what the hell? Like, who put this light bulb here? And she's asking me, did you put this light bulb here? She's asking my grandmother. We're both like, no. Like, we didn't even know where the light bulbs are in the house. Like, we had a bag full of spare light bulbs, and she's like, okay, I guess it was your grandfather who is saying change the damn light bulb. Like, if, you know, because he was the type of person that obviously would change it immediately. Like that just never, that would not fly for him.
Right.
But yeah, so other than that, I guess we'll go into a little bit as to maybe future visits. So a lot of you guys know I do a lot of paranormal stuff. I do these Randonautica videos, strange places, things like that. Where the future might be heading for me and my channel, Exploring with Angelo, I've always kind of wanted to do this thing where, so I've always loved to travel, and I've always wanted to kind of travel to weird places. And for me, I kind of want to do extreme travel one day. I think that would be very, very interesting. And what extreme travel is basically like you go to what would be considered more or less dangerous places, you know, countries maybe that are a little bit considered a little bit turbulent, maybe, you know, not so stable politically, and whatever it might be. Places that I could, you know, use as an example would probably be North Korea, China. Where's the city of Caracas? Is that what country is that?
I don't know.
It's a South American country. It's very, very dangerous. I think Venezuela. Yeah, Venezuela is like insane. Venezuela used to be one of, so it used to be one of the richest countries in South America because they have a ton of resources. And then, you know, they basically implemented massive amounts of socialism in the country and completely destroyed their currency. And then one day, just like that, everything fell apart, and their currency is virtually worthless. And I used to watch this YouTuber. His name was Indigo Traveler, and he was actually there when all of this went down. And then he, you know, I think he had to flee the country, but I think he eventually went back. I don't really remember anymore, but it was super interesting because he was like interviewing people like a while after everything had collapsed. So I assume he had gone back at some point. And basically what he was finding out was that everyone, for the most part in Venezuela, who basically, you know, to buy things, they couldn't afford it anymore because everything was so expensive. And the average income of a Venezuelan was not enough to sustain yourself. Like on average, just as an example, let's say it would cost you $200 a month US to live. They would make on average, let's say $20, nowhere near enough to house yourself, feed yourself, things like that. And majority, I think it's like 95% plus people in Venezuela, the only reason they manage to survive is because they have family members outside of the country, typically in the United States, that actually send them money back. So back to the main point, I think stuff like that would be super interesting. Just going to like weird places and maybe doing just like weird kind of, I don't know, like basically like what we did in Japan.
I was
like,
just gonna say, take me back to Japan.
Right?
I want to do that.
Yeah,
absolutely. I would absolutely love to just run around Japan again, and being able to do all those explorers that you didn't get to do the first time.
Oh yeah. So got to go back to the forest and stuff like that. But apart from that, I mean, if I were to go back to Japan, what I would do is kind of like what Oz did, where he was like in some mountain village or whatever, and he was working for room and board. Yeah. I would do that and then film it and document it just for the experience, to see what it's like to live as, you know, a Japanese farmer up in the mountains. Like that would be wild.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what are your future plans? Like what do you want to do for YouTube, maybe for your channel? You do mostly like gaming and stuff like that. Yeah. Like what's so
far it's just been I started in, I think, what year was it now? 2019 or something like that. It's been a while, yeah. I started on YouTube because you pushed me to start on YouTube, and absolutely don't regret it. And I learned a lot from you, and I got any kind of good advice was pretty much from you. So thank you very much for that. And I plan to one day go full time on YouTube. Absolutely. Yeah, man. I'm you know what bothers me about working for this
company?
Not the company. No, there's nothing wrong with the company. Just working this I don't even know how to. Is it the system? Is that what I'm trying to say? Like anyway, working as an employee in a. you know what I'm just tired of is that like your efforts are never enough, and you absolutely don't ever get paid for your efforts, right? And so what I want to be able to be in a position like as a full-time YouTuber, where the more effort you put in, the more income and growth and, you know, in one word, success you attain from your efforts. That's that by itself, being able to profit off of your own efforts and grow and be proud of what you're doing just based on what you're doing. That's the reason that I want to be a YouTuber. Yeah,
makes a lot of sense. I mean, for me, before I even really went full time with YouTube, I always did business because I always knew that I just didn't want to work for somebody else, which not that there's anything wrong with it. I mean, we need people to do, you know, everyday jobs, whether it's construction or whether you're working at McDonald's or whatever. But I just knew that for me personally, for the rest of my life, I just didn't want to stay there. Right. I knew eventually, by whatever means necessary, that I wanted to be able to travel the world and see all these cool places and do all these cool things. And that's just me. That's just what I like. But yeah, so for those of you who are just popping into this live broadcast here, thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome to the Brave Podcast.
I'm curious how many people are watching so far. We got 60 people. That's amazing. Yeah, for such a new channel, you guys, honestly, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Like, you guys making this happen for us. This is really, really cool. But yeah, so basically, since a lot of you guys are just popping in, we're trying to get you guys used to the idea of us doing some, you know, live broadcasts, maybe once a week, once every second week, whatever it works out to be. Obviously, we're still working out the kinks here and there. I have this stupid electronic board that is making this really annoying noise, and I know the microphones are like somewhat picking it up, but mostly not.
Yeah.
But because I know it's happening, it's really annoying. But there's nothing I could do about it right now mid live stream. But
yeah, I don't think anybody can hear it.
No.
At least certainly they don't know what it is. Maybe they just think it's like my my voice box is just rumbling.
Yeah, so basically there's this thing that I'm pointing at right now. It's like it's called an HDMI switcher. So you basically plug all the cameras in, because we got 4 cameras in this room, 3 of them right now, but 4 of them total. And basically what I do is I hit a button and it switches the angle for us. But yeah, the main idea, the one thing that I wanted to say is that because obviously we're going to engage with you, and that'll be towards the end of the live stream. Right now we're just kind of, you know, rambling on, going through topics. And I guess the next topic, the hard segue right here, is going to be basically the title of this video. Why, or am I quitting Randonautica? And basically, as far as you guys know, basically I've been doing Randonautica now for like consistently just over a year, I think. I don't really remember when I started, but
I was just gonna ask you, how did you get started doing the Randonautica?
I don't know. Actually, that's a very good question. So when I first started doing Randonautica, I had heard about it, and there was this crazy, I don't remember if I had heard the story first before I had done it, but I'm like, that's weird. Like, that's some weird stuff, but it's kind of like up my alley, right? Like, I go to weird places all the time, you know, go to abandoned locations, whatever. So I'd heard about this app, the Randonautica app, and I downloaded it. There was a crazy story. Apparently this had happened well before I had started. I just don't remember if I had heard the story before I had actually filmed my own video. And basically, there was this insane story of this girl who was using the app, and they ended up by the water. I think it was by the water or something. And they found this luggage amongst a bunch of rocks. And when they went and opened the luggage, it had like body parts in it.
What?
Right? And it like made the news, and it was crazy. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I ended up doing my own video at some point, and I think the first video that I did, it wasn't really working right off the hop, but then I ended up using an intent, which was 2020. I don't even know. I think it was 2020. And we all know how 2020 went. It was like one of the weirdest years in existence. One that I think majority of people will probably never forget.
Yeah.
And I think this was after all of the lockdowns had already started, and all that fun stuff. And so I'm using the Randonautica app, ran the intent 2020. I end up in this parking lot, and I'm like, it was just like a plaza. There was nothing really that resembled 2020 until I looked across the street. And there was this massive sign that said, I don't even remember exactly what it said, but it said something, something, and then in big font, 2020. And I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, this thing actually freaking works. Like, this is wild. And then I think I did a couple after that. Things just got a little bit weird and creepy. So for a while I paused it and I didn't really do many. I think I would do like one here and there, but it wasn't that often. And it wasn't really like my thing at the time. I was mostly doing haunted, still doing a lot of abandoned places. And I think I was filming with Mo quite a bit and all of that. But then later on, by fluke, I end up meeting Yasko, who was like considered the Randonautica king at the time, we'll call him. And that was like all he was doing for the most part. He would do like the odd haunted video, but his like main thing that he would do, his bread and butter, if you will, was Randonautica. And so I started hanging out with him, you know, going on road trips with him. And I'm like, okay, let me try this on my channel and just see what happens. It was creepy, to say the least. And, but it was something that people really enjoyed, right? I know a lot of people who were also watching Jazz also came over to my channel and were watching us simultaneously, because obviously they wanted to see what was happening from two different camera angles majority of the time. Fast forward to now, I kind of transition back and forth. So I'll go on like a big road trip and do a bunch of haunted locations, and then we'll go back to doing Randonautica, haunted, Randonautica, etc., etc. Right. The problem lately has been that I've just been having way too many crazy encounters, and Jazz recently uploaded a vlog where he mentioned how he's not going to do Randonautica anymore, at least not anytime soon. He may do it in the future if things change or if he changes his mind. And yeah, unfortunately he got some flack for that, but what he was saying was that he was getting threats, and I've never brought this up, but I've also been getting some threats myself. Not to mention that at night, I mean, first of all, majority of the time when I go out at night, it's like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Like a lot of people don't realize sometimes we'll come in, we'll do the podcast from like 8 till 10, 10:30, 11 by the time everybody gets out the door. Yeah. And then after that, I'm basically off doing my Randonautica thing. Like by 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to like 2, 3, 4 a.m. sometimes, right? So, I mean, I'm out there literally in the middle of the wilderness by myself. I've encountered weird freaking people. I have no idea who the hell they are. And that's kind of why I'm just like, I don't think I'm going to stop now, but in the future, I might. I don't know. And that's kind of why I just wanted to talk about it and kind of bring it up. I don't think I'm going to stop. Like, I'm not going to stop today, right? But because we still have some unfinished answers, but that's pretty much where we're at. In the future, things may change. Like I said, I want to do the extreme travel. I really enjoy doing haunted places the most. That's just been my thing. That was where I started for the most part. And that's kind of where my comfort zone. And it's just getting uncomfortable sometimes doing Randonautica. Like, I do like doing it. It brings me to some places that, like I've said before, that I would probably never see in my lifetime, right? If I go to Arizona, it'll bring me to like up in the mountains sometimes, right? So to be able to do that using this as a utility and also to be able to create content at the same time is pretty cool. Hence why I don't really want to stop just yet. But honestly, if things start to get even more dangerous than they already are, then I might just have to stop. I don't know. I gotta weigh my options, right? I have been seeing people comments on your channel and people saying that, you know, this is dangerous, Angelo, don't go alone, and all that. I do think I don't know anybody else's channel. I don't watch anybody else's channel like of your content, but I do think that you're going probably a little farther than a lot do, and all these people are noticing. The people your subscribers are noticing, and they are concerned for your well-being, and it's not a bad idea. At least slowing down, taking a step back, maybe just to make sure, you know. Yeah, I mean, I really like doing the haunted stuff, and I'm getting used to doing things on my own ever since Frank left, and like last night, for example, I did some Randonautica, and then I'm just like, okay, screw this, and then ended up at a haunted cemetery that I've been meaning to do, and I actually brought the tent. I was gonna camp there, and something really, really crazy happened. If you guys watch the main channel videos, then you guys will see that very, very soon.
Yeah, I think you posted a story or something at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
today.
Yeah, that was wild. So basically, oh man, what time was it? It must have been already like 1:30 in the morning. Like I didn't get home until probably like 3 or something like that, 3:30. I don't remember anymore. But I remember I was at this basically in the cemetery grounds. There's this schoolhouse that I've been to many times, and I had set up all my equipment and put my equipment on top of the steps. And literally the second there's this thing called a REM pod. I don't know if you know what that is.
I've seen it, but I don't remember.
It like lights up. Basically, it emits a electromagnetic frequency, and if something breaks that frequency, it will light up. And there's like 4 different colors that essentially represent or resemble proximity. So
is it the one you hold in your hand?
No, that's a EMF meter.
Okay.
So with the EMF meter, the difference is that the EMF meter is picking up if something is giving off a electromagnetic frequency. So if you put it next to your laptop or your phone or whatever, it'll probably pick up the feed off of that. The REM pod, on the other hand, does the opposite. So it's kind of like putting your cell phone and having your cell phone give off a feed, except it's more of like a steady feed. And then if something is breaking that feed, like you literally need to, like imagine this is the REM pod.
Yeah.
The closer you get, it'll trigger the different lights because it's based on how close you actually get to the antenna.
Okay.
So I was getting that going off on the steps of the schoolhouse, and then I was also getting I call it the twinkle twinkle box. What the heck is it called? It's like a music box. It's got like this really, it's a built-in, how would you even describe it? It's basically like, okay, so it's a motion sensor. If it picks something up, it'll start basically playing a song, a really, really creepy song. So imagine that I'm like, there by myself in the middle of the cemetery, nobody around apart from coyotes down off in the distance, and obviously the spirits who were very active. Yeah, imagine this random box going off, and it was really freaking creepy. But I did have a good time. It was really cool. I got some really cool stuff that I'm in the midst of editing it, so it'll probably be up tomorrow. But yeah, apart from that, it's been really cool with Randonautica to be able to like travel to places, because at this point, I've been to like 40 different U.S. states. I've been all over Canada, except for maybe like Saskatchewan, Manitoba. I'm going to BC soon, which is pretty cool.
That's one thing I'm absolutely super jealous about, is that the fact
travel?
that you can travel and make content from that.
Yeah.
That's really cool, because you can, I mean, apart from like the business expenses, the tax write-offs.
Oh yeah, it's expensive. It's expensive as all hell. People don't realize
that,
like how expensive it is. But yeah, traveling's is fun though. Yeah, like I've been to 40 different US states, all over Canada. I've been to Greece, which was a hell of a trip. We were super young at the time. We did so many stupid things. Could probably get into that. Like, where would you say is probably the best place, like the coolest place you've ever traveled to in your life? Where have you been? You've been a few.
This is the thing.
Places.
Not many.
Europe.
The biggest. Okay, so yeah. So first, I would say right as I graduated. No, it was after college. I went straight to Guyana, which is, if you don't know, it's a country in South America. That's where my dad's from. So I went with my dad right after college. We went to Guyana for like 2.5 weeks. That was one. After that, you were a part of this. I took my parents on a cruise in the Mediterranean for their 25th wedding anniversary. Which was you were like there for the entire. You weren't there on the cruise, but you were there from the beginning of the planning stages to the end. Which was Barcelona, Italy, Spain, and France. So that was nice. I loved walking around. So I loved the cruise. Being on a cruise ship, it's like a 5-star hotel every day on the water, traveling to different places. Really super cool. but you don't have a lot of freedom. You don't have like your schedule is pretty strict because you got to be back on the boat or else it's leaving without you. It will leave without you, so you don't want that to happen. So that was cool. I love seeing everything. We went to Herculaneum and what's that other one called? Herculaneum and Petra, is it?
Petra.
No, it's not Petra. Herculaneum and what's the like city
in Italy?
In Italy where the volcano erupted.
Oh, Pompeii.
Yes, exactly. We walked around down in that town where have you seen that statue where the guy, it looks like the guy is touching his willy?
No.
You got to look up. I think it's called the Pompeii Man. I think where it looks like when the lava went through the town, the guy was sitting there touching his willy, and he was like, I think if you look it up, it's funny. I'm pretty sure it's called the Pompeii Man. Anyway,
the Pompeii Man. Okay, hang on. I gotta pull this up. Hang on. There's no way.
I hope it's the first thing that pops up.
Is it? Is this it?
That guy right there.
This dude?
Wait, no.
Hold on. This dude. No.
Oh man, where is he?
Oh man, he got canceled, bro.
Yeah, you know that one. That's the one. That's the one.
This one?
They cut off the hand. This picture cut off the hand, so it's not showing.
Let me bring this up so you guys can see what the heck we're talking about here. But
so this picture, so what happened? I don't know if you know. I know very basic details. Herculaneum or Pompeii. There was a volcano. Do you know the name of the volcano? I don't know it. Anyway, there's a volcano in Italy. It erupted however many hundreds of years ago.
Mount Vesuvius or something. That's probably the only like mountain.
Is it a volcano?
I have no idea. So I just know it's been referenced. So.
It erupted and it was like a cloud of ash went through this town called Pompeii, I'm pretty sure. And it pretty much buried and engulfed the entire town. And forgive me if I'm mistaken in the details, but this ash covered everything and pretty much I think I'm right.
I think it is Mount Vesuvius. Yeah. It says
the eruption ejected a cloud of stones, ashes, and volcanic gases to a height of 33 kilometers, which is 21
so it was
miles.
Right. Yeah, because it was east of Naples. So that's where Pompeii is, I'm pretty sure. So that's crazy, man. Like there's literally statues and they look like they're...
it pretty much froze the town as they were.
That's
so
wild.
Yeah.
And like, so all these bodies are still there, like
I mean they did, like, if I'm not mistaken, because the area that we were walking through, it was, the roads were clear, so I mean I think they cleared out a lot of the stuff. However, when you're walking through, there's like storage areas where there's a bunch of bodies in there.
That's creepy.
Yeah, super creepy. So anyway, that picture I was talking about, which is the Pompeii Man, is a dude who they found who was just doing whatever he was doing while touching his weenus. And
like, did they confirm that that's actually what happened though? Like that's what he was doing when this all went down?
I don't think it's possible, because as you see in that picture, that's all they have. They don't have more detail. I don't think they're gonna dig into the rock to find out, but
maybe he was like holding something else, and it's just the way it's perception, right?
Yeah. So one thing that I did read about, actually only a few weeks ago, was they think that it was just the sheer force of the whatever it was, the ash, kind of forced his body and contorted his body. Think about it. Think about how much heat was going through that town at the time. That probably contorted his body in a certain way, and just by the luck of it, it turned out to make this guy look like he was jerking it.
Oh my god, that's freaking wild, man.
But to get back to my favorite trip, I think I don't remember much else. There's been little spots here and there in Ontario. We went to PEI and Nova Scotia. That was fun.
I forgot about that.
We went there together. You took me on a trip, which was awesome. Me and a couple of our friends.
Oh yeah, I took you for your birthday.
Yes, that was 2016 or 2015 or something.
Oh yeah, it was a good time ago.
We have a couple pictures on Instagram from that trip, actually.
Yeah. If you guys go to our Instagram, I think there's one I was like in a tank top or whatever. Basically, it was all the pictures when I was like the skinniest time in my life.
Yeah.
So if you go and find those pictures, they were all the Cabo Trail. And it was really cool. So basically we went... Yeah, because I remember you're like, oh, I don't got any money and whatever. And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. I got like some money.
Yeah.
So let's just go. Like, don't worry about it. We'll take my car. And then we brought our friend Musa with us as well.
Right.
And we drove. So I think we went to Quebec City first, stayed the night. We had dinner. We went to Poutineville.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was called Poutineville, and it was sorry. I know Jeff isn't here because I can see Exploring Harley is chatting, but it's Poutineville. I don't know if I'm even saying it correctly, but it was amazing. Do you remember that? There was like 120 different topping options.
Oh my god.
Right? And there was like, dude, they had like corn dogs. Like, who puts corn dogs on top of like French fries? Like,
Quebec does,
apparently.
I don't know how many people. Okay, so this past weekend we went to visit my grandmother.
Yeah.
You know where we went, right? And I had a cousin, uncle, and aunt from Ohio come down to the city, and we were all there together. And my cousin didn't know, and I think she's 20. I don't know how, 21, maybe 22. She didn't know what Poutine was.
Really?
So what was about to say was that maybe some of your viewers who are not from Canada don't know what poutine is. So we should explain that poutine is fries,
French
right?
fries.
Regular French fries, potato French fries, covered in
cheese curds.
Cheese curds are not mozzarella, right? Cheese curds are a type of cheese.
It's like a different type of cheese. So where cheese curds typically come from is actually Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess they must invent, because every time I hear Wisconsin, I hear cheese curds. They have the best cheese curds.
Have you been?
Assuming no. That's like one place in like the Midwest to East Coast area that I haven't had a chance to go to.
Okay, so let's go there, right? For the next trip. Let's go there. We bring a bunch of gravy with us. And we'll create
hot ass gravy. So that's the other thing. So you put French fries, cheese curds, and steaming hot gravy that just like melts the cheese. So that's the traditional way. Now, obviously, if you come to Canada, you'll find a lot of different poutine places. It's kind of like a trendy thing. There's like Smokes Poutine, there's Poutineville, and they're everywhere now at this point. Some places make good ones, some places not so good. I do remember when we went to Quebec City. Remember we went to the Ice Hotel?
I was just gonna say that other trip that we did with who was my girlfriend, now is my wife, and Frank and his ex and your ex
and my ex,
Yeah, so we all went together, and
you were
we
the
had
only one that lasted.
My wife also.
Of course.
That place. Yeah, we went and we had poutine one night in Poutine in some restaurant, not a poutine restaurant, but some restaurant outside of the ice castle or whatever it was. And do you remember the debacle of the poutine debacle?
Yeah, so it was like they brought them to us, and then I think the gravy was cold, or like the whole thing was just kind of cold in general by the time they got it to us. And we're talking like when they brought these things out, like imagine a bowl bigger than two of my heads put together. And
for each person, almost every person ordered a poutine from this restaurant.
Yeah, it was wild.
They were huge, and they came out, and I think it was maybe me and Frank or something where the gravy was cold.
Yeah. I think they all kind of were, but I think some of us were kind of hungry, and we just don't like to complain. I hate complaining at restaurants. But
yeah, no, it's bad, but
it's whatever.
Not Putin like Vladimir Putin. It's Poutine. You gotta look up the Quebec Poutine. Anyway, so
not the Russian version.
So we were in Quebec where they mostly speak French, Quebec French. Now, so our waiter didn't really speak amazing English. We only spoke English. And so I think there was a little bit of a, like a language barrier issue. So we're like, sir, this one's a little bit cold, or maybe whatever, a little bit cold. Can we just get a little bit more gravy, hot gravy, just so it melts? Pretty much. What came out, Angelo?
They literally brought us a brand new poutine. Like a brand new bowl filled all the way to the top.
Not one.
No.
One for every single person.
Yeah. So now we're all sitting there with these two gigantic bowls of poutine.
There's 6 of us and 12 poutines on the table. And these things are bigger than the table now.
It was insane. It was absolutely ridiculous. Just like, we're like, no, dude, like we just wanted like fresh gravy. And then I'm like, And then the funniest part was that the new ones that they brought to us were also cold.
Oh, I don't.
You remember
I didn't
that?
remember that.
And
Oh,
so
no.
I'm just like, whatever, dude. I'm just gonna eat it. Like we gotta go at some point.
We were so tired of poutine
yeah,
that
we were
night.
so tired. We just
It was like we woke up the next morning and I'm looking at this poutine in the fridge and I'm like, no,
yeah,
I can't.
And then
can't do
I
it.
think Frank took all of it for his dog or whatever.
Oh,
so
nice.
at least somebody enjoyed the leftovers. But yeah, that was
We were there for your birthday
yeah.
in February, so it was already winter, and we were there for the ice sculpture festival in Quebec? Is that what it was?
I think it's called the Winter Festival.
Oh, Winter
I know
Fest,
there's an
right?
actual term for it. I can't recall
It
the
might be
name of it.
Winterfest or something.
Yeah. So the only person I can see Jeff is in the chat. Jeff, what is the event called when they do the festival, the ice festival or whatever it's called in Quebec City? Let me know. But yeah, so we went, it was it was beginning of March, or sorry, not March, February, for my birthday. Basically it was freezing cold, as it usually is around that time in February in Quebec.
Carnival.
That's it. Carnaval. Thank you, Jeff. So yeah, if you guys ever come to Canada and for some reason you like the cold weather, go and check out the Carnival in Quebec City. It's really cool.
It's very pretty.
Amazing.
It's so pretty.
Like, dude, they're building like some of the most amazing ice sculptures I've ever seen in my entire life. But the only problem was it was so freaking cold the first night.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? The first night we went for dinner and we were like, oh, we can go eat and we'll walk around for a little bit. And I think it was like minus 30
It was
Celsius.
so cold. Yeah.
Yeah. And
so cold.
in Fahrenheit, that is like well below zero. Like, it's insanely cold. So.
And we weren't Ubering, we weren't busing, we weren't driving. We walked everywhere. I think maybe we drove from the Airbnb to the city, and then we walked.
Yes.
And we walked for hours and hours and hours, and it was absolutely so much fun, so worth it.
Oh yeah, it was such a cool trip. Then coming back was like a total disaster. So
oh yeah, the drive back.
Remember
oh my
that?
God, yeah.
Oh man, that was like one of the scariest times of my life. So at the time, I owned a Subaru WRX STI, not like, the sexually transmitted disease, but the vehicle. Basically, I had pretty worn out tires at the time. I had these old Winners that had come on the car, and I guess they were just worn out by that time. And we were driving back, and you and your wife were in her car.
Yeah, her car. Yeah.
And me, my girlfriend at the time, Frank and his girlfriend at the time. The guys were sitting in the front, ladies in the back, and all of a sudden we're just driving down the highway. We hear, we're like, what the hell is that noise? Right? Me and Frank are looking at each other like, oh crap. And pulled over. Tire was flat. Problem was, it was a Sunday in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, oh crap. And basically what was happening at the time was we had like the biggest ice storm across Ontario and Quebec happening all simultaneous.
Oh yeah, we had to drive so slow.
Yeah, so I called CAA, which is like AAA in the US. Same thing. They came and they essentially were like, well, nothing's open, there's nothing we can do for you unless you want to wait till tomorrow. And at this point I think we were still about 250 kilometers away from home, so about 2.5 hours. So we decided, okay, whatever, let's just put the donut, the spare tire on, and hope for the freaking best. So we get the donut on, we start driving. By this time, it was literally like the roads turned into a sheet of ice.
Yeah,
so,
it was so bad.
I was driving, I think I must have been going like 40, 50 kilometers per hour, which is like like we're talking like 20 miles per hour tops, something like that. Yeah. And I remember Mo is behind me. We both have our hazard lights.
So before that, your tire popped, and you called and you were like, I need you to come because
because you were like,
we were like an hour or maybe 45 minutes or something ahead of you.
Not really. I don't think you were that far.
Half an hour? I
maybe
feel like it was half an hour.
Yeah, maybe.
So, you know why? Because we were moving so slow. So So we were, and you were like, okay, so I'm coming back. All right. Yeah. I came back to pick up your tire because you didn't have space in the car.
Yeah.
Because you had the girls in the back.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'm like, oh damn, where am I gonna put this gigantic tire?
So we threw it in our car and we went driving down the road at like 20 miles.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. So I remember driving that night and I was just like both hands on the steering wheel, and I'm just like, not, and I could feel like the tire, the spare tire, like kicking out periodically. So the car would just start going like this. But I mean, we eventually made it. I remember I refused to take my hands off the wheel, and I'm literally like sweating at this point. And I'm like, Frank, wipe the sweat off my forehead. Frank, put a smoke in my mouth. Frank, light the smoke. He's like, you want me to smoke the smoke for you at the same time? And I'm like, so eventually we had to take a few breaks and whatever, but we made it home, man. We made it home. And then I remember after that seeing, there was a video, I guess it was somebody's dash cam footage. There was a video of a car on the 401, somewhere between, I don't even know where the hell, there's somewhere like an hour out from Toronto. You have to keep in mind that there was like literally that much ice on the road. Like it was just a sheet of ice, right? The snow plows were struggling to keep up because it was coming down so fast. There was dash cam footage of this one vehicle. I just remember the dude did like a 180. He's going down the highway, and then all of a sudden he just does another 180 and he's finally facing the right way. But can you imagine driving, like you're going like 50, 60 kilometers per hour, and all of a sudden your car just spins and you're literally going backwards on the highway? Like, what do you even do in that situation? Like that's wild. It was lucky that he managed to freaking turn around, but you summon
your inner Tom Cruise in that moment, hoping you're doing the right thing. I
guess so. I've had that happen in the GMC Jimmy. Remember that? That piece of crap car.
Loved that truck.
That truck was amazing. That truck got us.
You drove me the first time right after you bought that vehicle. You were driving me, and we were driving to the office.
Yeah.
You remember? It was like Saturday morning at like 8 something in the morning. It was
snowing or something.
No, right? It was summer, and he was like, we were driving down this 2-lane road, and someone kind of, what happened?
I don't even know. I don't even remember this. What happened?
You were driving. I think someone kind of came into the lane.
Yeah.
Came towards us in your vehicle, and you kind of like swung out and going into the next lane and totally forced another car off of the curb onto the grass.
I did that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were avoiding another person.
Yeah.
And so they were like on the grass, and we were just like still going.
Oh yeah. I guess. Sorry, dude. Like, where am I supposed to go?
No, it's not your fault. It was the other person who was forcing off.
Anybody that's from the Greater Toronto area knows that people drive like absolute hideous garbage over here. I've been driven off the road before in the same truck. I remember that. That was
that's what I'm saying. That Jimmy had like a lot of resilience.
Oh yeah,
it lasted years. Yeah. Do you remember how long you had it? Many years.
So that was I think it was a 2003. I think I bought it when I was
would have been 18 or 19, right?
Yeah. 19, something like that. And then I had it up until I had the Subaru. So I don't even know, man, like 6-7 years probably. I mean, I bought it at 101,300 kilometers. By the time I gave it up for scrap, it had like 320,000 kilometers. So
that's the vehicle that you drove us to Nova Scotia in.
Yes. Yeah. So what we used to do, apart from the Nova Scotia trip, what we used to do was we used to come up with food ideas. Mo and I and a couple of other friends would come up with food ideas to try. And we would literally drive to places in the United States just for the food. Right? You remember that?
New York.
Yeah. So we wanted to try White Castle. And
because of the movies.
Obviously. Harold,
I think that one was my idea because it was like those burgers look absolutely horrendous, and I want to go so bad.
It's true. They made them look so good, but I mean, they were a bunch of potheads. They would have made anything look good at that point, right? So somebody suggested the idea of White Castle. So I think we were all together. We were hanging out, and you brought it up.
Probably.
And I'm like, I wonder where the closest White Castle would be to us. And I looked it up, and I think the closest one was in Jersey. And I'm like,
Jersey or Manhattan? Did we go to Manhattan?
We did, yeah. So that's actually where we ended up. The reason why was because I'm like, Jersey? What the hell are we going to do in Jersey? Mm-hmm. Right? I think it was in, I can't remember the area. There's an area that's very close where we stayed. There was that crappy area that's part of Jersey.
That motel that like had space for 2 people that we shoved 5 people into.
Yes. So, so we ended up looking, and we're like, why don't we just go to New York City? Like, that would be freaking so cool, right? So because I don't think
it was my first time.
You had never been to New York City.
That's right.
That would have been my second time. And also so the Jimmy was a 4-seater, but there was 5 of us plus all of our luggage, plus I had a subwoofer at the time, which in hindsight, now thinking about it, we probably should have taken the subwoofer out of the car and stopped being stupid. But we decided to leave it in there.
Do you remember the subwoofer was a seat for somebody for like half of the trip?
Oh yeah. People would just sit on top of the subwoofer. I guess it's a good butt massage or whatever. But yeah, we drove all the way into New York City. That was my very first time driving through New York City, and I realized, I'm like, holy crap, man. But the thing that I noticed about New York City, being from Toronto, like growing up, I grew up in Toronto, and at that time I used to drive a lot in Toronto as well. I noticed that people in New York City, even though the driving is hectic and crazy, they were aggressive, but very capable of getting around one another. I noticed everybody kind of like knew, like in unison, like, oh, we're all going left now, we're all going right now. And it's like they, even though there was so much craziness going on, so much traffic, that people would still manage to get, you know, around, even though you're literally stopping every 2 seconds, because it's like you go from like 1st to 42nd Street, for example. It's just insane. But in Toronto, forget it. Like, no one knows how to drive. Everybody's just kind of like staring at each other like, okay, what do we do now? Like, and no one moves. The traffic in Toronto sucks so bad, way worse than New York City. And Toronto is nowhere near the sheer size of New York City, which I don't know why. Like,
nor the population.
No, it's crazy, man. But yeah, so we ended up going all the way to White Castle. There was 5 of us, and we made a whole trip out of it. I think how long were we there for? Like 3 days.
I think it was just Friday to Sunday,
something like that. Yeah, it was just a quick little thing.
Maybe Monday. Yeah,
maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so we finally do this whole trip. We did quite a bit on that trip. We went to like Staten Island. We went to I think we did the ferry past the Statue of Liberty. Did a whole bunch of stuff. Little Italy. We went to, I don't even remember. There was so many things that we did. I think we were trying to go to like the World Trade Center, like the new buildings that they had built.
We did, didn't we?
I think we went to the memorial.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah,
that's
we
right.
went to,
Exactly,
which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's called Battery Park. So they have like this memorial that kind of, it's in line with where the 2 buildings used to be.
Right.
And then finally we ended up going to White Castle. And how was it?
Oh, it was absolutely terrible.
Oh, it was disgusting.
It was so bad.
It was like,
but you know what? It wasn't like, you know, 5 p.m., 12 p.m. I think we were there at like 9:30, maybe 11 p.m. or something like that. Where it, you know, it could have been the scraps of the day. I'm not sure. I don't know. Are they open 24/7? I feel like it was the end of the day, and even. It didn't look good when it was sitting there, nor when it was being served to us. The onions kind of looked like they had been, you know, like being cooked
sitting
all
there
day.
for like since the day before.
Yeah. I don't know. It seemed like a good idea at the time. It seemed like a good idea on the drive there. When we were standing there, I was like, well, we're here. Let's do it. I'm excited.
Yeah, and then I think at least 3 of us kind of felt really, really nauseated after. Like, it was not worth it at all. But it was just like, dude, we literally came here all the way for this. I mean, we made a whole trip out of it, right? So it was still good. I mean, the trip was good. White Castle was absolutely trash. And not to mention that where the White Castle was basically in the hood. Like it was a rough neighborhood, right? Like you can tell everything's like really run down. There was a lot of homeless people, and it was a little bit sketchy, but we made it through. But yeah, I just remember a bunch of people saying like, "Nah, that wasn't very good." There was another time we went to Chicago.
I was just thinking of that.
Yeah, for the
pizza,
the deep dish pizza. So we ended up at a place known as Pizza Uno, which was, according to them, the creators of deep dish pizza. And honestly, it sucked. It was totally overrated. Definitely not worth it.
Do you remember the name of the last place? I think I think we were there for 3 or 4 days.
I do remember the name of it. I think it was called Italian Village. So there was this one restaurant. It's like on a main area in Chicago, and it's like 3 different restaurants all in one. It was like 3 levels, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's either called Italian Village or The Village or something like that. But I remember it being having village in the name,
Yeah.
because when we walked in there, the whole restaurant on the inside, it was dark. It was like a dark, starry night in an Italian village. It was really, really cool the way they had it designed.
Nice restaurant.
Yes.
It was.
Yeah.
We went up the stairs, off the street, up the stairs into a corridor, into a nice, dimly lit, beautiful, classic restaurant. They had the best deep dish pizza.
That wasn't deep dish. That's why it was good. It was
that not the deep dish we had on the last day?
No, that was normal pizza. That was like regular.
So did we not have good deep dish pizza on that trip?
Nope, we did not.
I thought that last day we did have deep dish.
No.
And that's the good memory I have.
Yeah,
that's why.
You're I don't know. I don't think that's the memory is incorrect. The pizza we had was just like a normal. It was like kind of like a rectangular pizza. It was a little bit like the dough was a little thick.
Thicker.
Maybe that's why you thought it was more of a deep dish. But
we did try 2, 3, 4 deep dish pizzas.
I think 2. I believe 2, because I think we were there for 3 days. The first night we got to the hotel, which was by O'Hare, the airport.
Yeah.
Because I remember we didn't end up staying in the city. So we went to O'Hare. And we asked the dude working there, we're like, yo, is there any good like pizza joints that we can try? Because, we're from Tirana, and that's what we came to try here in Chicago, are the deep dish pizzas. And he's like, yeah, literally across the parking lot. I don't remember what the place was called. I just remember it tasting like soap.
It was so bad.
Yeah, it was like there was something about the sauce that was just awful. And then the second day, after doing research, we found a place called Pizza Uno. So we went there. So there's 2 of them. There's Pizza Uno and Pizza Due, because apparently Pizza Uno was so busy that they decided to open up Pizza Due to take up the overflows for when they get super, super busy.
Yeah, Uno being the number 1 in Italian, I think.
Yeah.
And then Due
is number 2.
Due.
Yeah. So basically, they both kind of. Well, I think we only tried Pizza Uno, and they were like, yeah, we're the inventors of deep dish, and it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever had, but being Italian
was not
and
worth the drive.
No. But I mean, Chicago was fun though. We had a really good time seeing.
So we went to see the fasolka.
The what now? The fasolka? Is that the bean?
The bean in Polish.
Oh, the giant bean. Okay.
In Polish, like, the word for bean is fasolka. And I was...
How do you... What?
Because when I was working at that place at the time, and I was working with a Polish guy, and he's like, he used to live in Chicago for a little while. He's like, oh, you have to go see the fasolka. And that's it's a word that never left me. So anyway, there's a giant bean in Chicago, which is a mere... like polished thing that you can like see yourself in, and it's huge friggin' huge house.
I might have a picture of it on Instagram of us, because everybody does the same thing. Everybody looks into the giant fasolka, which funny enough, fasolka or bean in Italian is fagioli, right? Fagiola. And you say pasta fagioli, pasta and beans. That's like, hey, where's my pasta fagioli? Huh? But so everybody does the famous thing where you're looking into the bean and you take the stupid picture of your selfie in the bean. But it was cool though. I like the big shiny giant bean.
Yeah, that was cool. And we saw there was some fountain. I don't remember anything about that. We went up.
That was that was just like the famous spot for the skyline of the city.
Is that where they did the picture for the Friends TV show?
That's a good question.
Maybe not. Maybe that's probably.
I'm not sure.
There, we also did what was that building? That really tall building where the floor was glass.
Oh man,
you remember that?
I don't remember what it was called, but I just remember it being Chicago's tallest building.
Yeah, pretty sure there's a picture of that on.
Yeah. Let's see.
On my Instagram.
I'm curious as to what the building is called now.
What else did we do there? We went to a museum.
Yeah,
no.
we did
an art gallery, and I cursed you forever after that.
That thing was cool, man.
We did see that painting. That one, I don't remember what it's called. The farmer and his wife.
The pitchfork.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called.
We saw that original painting. Okay. That was cool.
That is super weird. So I was typing in tallest building, and the third one they're listening. They're listening. Google's listening to us, guys. Let me show this to you. This is really funny. So I typed in tallest building.
Oh. Did you see that comment? Okay, we have to go back after that. After this, but you have to go back to that.
In Chicago. But I swear it literally said tallest building in Chicago. That was the third thing that came up. What is it called? It is called the
Sears Tower.
Is that what it's called? St. Regis? I don't know. List of tallest buildings in Chicago.
Can you search glass floor?
Oh, isn't this it?
Is it Willis Tower?
Willis Tower?
I feel like it's Willis Tower.
It has to be because that's literally the tallest building. Yeah, it's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have like this crazy glass floor. I think it's, hang on. Tallest building in Chicago, glass floor. Is this it? Yeah, that's it.
That's the one. Willis Tower.
Oh, yeah. That thing was crazy. I would not go on that. I refused.
I laid back flat on that.
I remember that. Yeah. I think you have a photo on your Instagram of that. But I remember, I'm like, no, what was the comment?
Right there at the top on the screen over here.
Yeah.
You see Roxy's comment? The pierced bean.
The pierced bean? What does that mean?
I'm dying.
What do they mean by that? The pierced bean? Okay, I must have missed something. I'm just not getting the joke. I don't understand. Huh? Tell me later. Just tell me later.
I'm gonna write it out for you because it's too good.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So that's the yeah. I can't think of anything right now. That was such a good Roxy. Thank you for that comment.
That's amazing. But yeah. So I remember after doing that, the thing cracked. Do you remember that?
I heard about it.
We had heard a crazy story that the actual glass, when someone was in there, completely cracked. Apparently, the thing is actually has a special coating, so that way people don't fall and plummet to their death, just in case.
Yeah, it's probably like a window tint film. Like it's called security film.
What? Why would they say that?
That's what it's referred to.
The actual silver bean thing, or just what she said? Okay, I don't know. Like, why?
Thank you, Roxy. I'm gonna have to explain this after the stream.
Thanks for the laughs.
So yeah, it's very likely what they did is they probably used a security film, which is like a window tint, like your car, or a lot of buildings will have like a dark tint on the windows, or like a mirror finish on the windows, and that it's a film, and that often is called security film, and it makes it a lot tougher. So they probably added some type of security film to those.
I'd imagine glasses. So, yeah.
I don't think it helped. It still
it happens, man. I mean, what are you gonna do? Not everything's made to be perfect, but I just remember a lot of people freaking out, and I'm like, holy crap, dude, we were there literally a week ago.
Oh, is that how soon it was?
Yeah, like scary. I would have literally lost my shit had I seen something like that. But yeah,
but imagine being at like the end of the line where it's like a 2 or 3 hour wait, and it's like,
and then all of a sudden
they just come
cracks.
in and they're like, sorry guys, you can't come in today, the glass cracked. The what?
What do you mean the glass cracked? I'm never coming back. Screw that. Oh my god. Oh man. That's amazing though. Holy crap. What?
D-Dog is in there.
We got D-Dog in the chat.
I'll pierce Angelo's bean.
No. Okay.
It started. Okay.
We got pierced bean jokes going on here.
What other trips have we done? I don't remember. The only other one I remember now is Japan.
We also went to, so we did Chicago, we did New York City, we did Nova Scotia, which was the best one because at the time Pokemon Go had just come out.
2016.
Right?
Okay,
yes.
tell me, you guys tell me in the chat, was 2016 the best year of your lives too? Because 2016, okay, it was, this is the reason why you took me on this trip. Okay, so 2016, the beginning of the summer, I lost my job. I was working at some random store, lost my job, and the day after I lost my job, they were so Pokemon Go, and Pokemon, I don't have to explain that to you, but Pokemon Go was an app on your phone where we saw a trailer a few months before. They were like, you're gonna be able to catch Pokemon in the real world, and I was tripping. I was like, okay, I'm a Pokemon fan.
What do you mean?
As a kid, I was a Pokemon fan. I had a couple of the games on my Game Boy, playing Pokemon games. Had the couple of games on the Nintendo 64, playing the games. I was a gamer, always been a gamer. This is coming to our cell phones, and we're going to be in the real world catching Pokemon, using our phones, seeing through your phone's camera Pokemon in the real world. Okay.
That was honestly one of the best experiences ever.
It was the best
just
summer
in general, yeah.
Almost of my entire life. Yeah. Almost. I now am married and I now have a child. But before these two very important things happened, that was the absolute best time in my life. So you're going out, the day I lost my job, this app comes out. It was I think it was we kind of like side loaded it on our phones because it wasn't released in North America yet, but it was released in Australia. And so we downloaded, we hacked into our phones and we downloaded this program like illegally, like we weren't supposed to do. And we were out there, man. We had one or two of our friends called in sick from work that day, and we were just walking around the parks, walking around the city, just what is going on? I'm looking at this Pikachu. It's on the floor and I'm throwing a ball at it.
It was funny because it looked like everybody was a zombie. That's what I remember. I just remember like downtown Brampton, Gage Park, there was, and no, most of the time, during the summer you see like a few people, walking around, whatever, but there was like 2,000 people
in the park
at one time in the park, just all simultaneously going in a circle because there was like 3 or 4 Pokestops or whatever.
Lots. Yeah.
And I'm
absolutely.
just I'm like, dude, if you just sit here and just take this in for a second, like you will probably never see this ever again in your entire lifetime. Like a bunch of gamer kids actually left the house to go and do this. Like this is unbelievable. Like what a brilliant idea. They should do this more often to get people outside and get some fresh air and exercise and vitamin D, right?
There's a comment from Annette saying 1988 was the best year of their lives, graduated high school, but I'm gonna say 1988 was the first year of my life. That's the year I was born.
Oh, so it actually was a great year then, wasn't it?
I think we can both agree that was a great year.
That's fantastic.
But so it wasn't just gamers who were out there playing because it was catching on like wildfire. Most of you probably remember it, but to go from, maybe in this park, maybe at most 20 to 30 people at an event. There was 2,000. There was more than 2,000 people.
Oh, it was wild.
It was crazy. The whole world was coming out. Everybody, adults, kids. It was like pandemonium. It was incredible. It was amazing. It was beautiful. There was all kinds of people. People were meeting people. People were talking to people. It was amazing. It was
a great way to make new friends for sure. Just
I
all these people that really enjoyed one thing, and it was just the thing for us because we were already adults, right? So that was what would you say 2016, right?
Yep.
So we would have been. So that was what 7 years ago, give or take.
Yeah.
So I would have been 25.
I would have been 28.
Yeah. So we were already adults, but it was just so nostalgic because like as a child growing up, like Pokemon was the shit.
Yeah.
Pokemon and DBZ were like the two biggest things out there at the time when I was a child anyways. And then all of a sudden Pokemon Go comes out and we're like, oh man. And I don't know if you remember at the time, but I had broken my leg. So there was a period of time when Pokemon Go. Do you remember how I
signed your cast?
Oh my God.
I think there's a picture of that on my Instagram too.
Oh my God. But so yeah, I had a broken leg at the time. So while everybody else is like going in a circle, I'm like kind of going a little bit on crutches, whatever, slowly but surely. But I just remember we were at Gage Park when all of a sudden somebody yells out, Snorlax! And you just see this herd of like 2,000 people just running up the road. And Mo just grabs my phone out of my hand and just runs up the street. I'm like, well, hopefully he gets it. And then he comes back. He's like, you now have a Snorlax. I'm like, oh my God, you're amazing. But yeah, that was how I got a Snor. It was like the best Pokemon I had for like the longest time. And then
it was so good.
And then after that, we ended up going to Halifax, and I think we were hanging out mostly at there was that pier in Eastern Passage that we would go to because our friend J String, his real name is Janet, but we call him J String, and he lives in that area, and we would like every single night from like 9 o'clock until like 1 o'clock in the morning. It was just us 4, sometimes 5, even his wife would come too, and she was
pregnant.
She was like about to give birth at that point. Like she was literally like gigantic, very, very, very pregnant.
Yeah.
And so we're all constantly like, going around this pier trying to catch Pokemon. I just remember going around Halifax and we caught the Dragonite and we were all pissed off because it was like
300 CP.
Yours was. Mine was like 46. Oh, yeah. It was like the softest Dragonite in the history of Pokemon in general. We went to Peggy's Cove for the first time.
Beautiful.
I remember us running around on the rocks. It was a beautiful area, but we were so distracted by Pokemon Go that we were literally running over all the rocks. capturing as many Pokemon as you could, because for some reason there was like all the rare starters. If you remember that, they had like Charmander, Squirtle, Pokemon, just Bulbasaur was missing basically. But for some reason they were all at Peggy's Cove, because I guess because Peggy's Cove is such a historical spot that Pokemon Go was like, yo, we'll just put all the good ones right here. Yeah. But yeah, what an adventure. And then we went to Cabo Trail, and then Moshi was kind of pissed off because there's basically no internet in Cabo Trail. So
imagine like, this idiot being mad at being in such a beautiful place, being like, I can't catch Pokemon right now.
Yeah. Cape Breton, baby. Cape Breton's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, I just remember we went to like all these really, really cool places, and he just had Moshi was just like, this place is really nice, but I can't play Pokemon Go. I'm really mad. I'm like, dude, it's a park. Like they're not gonna build all these cell towers so you have reception. So
this place sucks.
This place sucks. I don't care about the moose or the beautiful ocean, mountains and stuff. All I want to do is catch more Pokemon.
We took a really good picture. Me and you. A bunch of us took a bunch of good pictures. You and me took a really one in front of the sunset.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it was so pretty.
Let me see, maybe I can find it, but it was
certainly on my Instagram. I don't know if it's on yours.
Might be on mine. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that was definitely the adventure of a lifetime. Oh my gosh. Let me see. Scroll down here. Scroll down.
Yeah, man, you were made to explore. Oh, go back. Oh, that was Japan. Sorry.
Yeah, those are all the Japan trip photos.
You were made to explore, eh?
I guess so. I think,
quite a bit.
You know, where I really get my sense of adventure really would be my grandmother on my dad's side. The one, she's in the hospital right now. She hasn't been doing too great, but this woman, let me tell you about this woman. She's literally been all over the world. This woman in her late 70s went to the most northern point of Europe, like the North Pole, basically.
Wow.
And I remember her stories of her saying that it was basically a trip. It was like all older ladies. And she said that they all had to, oh, here they are. I think I'm starting to get a little closer here. Oh, I think I found
so that's
them.
not the one, but that's also a good one.
This one?
Yeah, that's not the one. However, it was that day. Where one? That one to the right, it was that day. And you're gonna have to check it out on my Instagram.
Yeah, we'll probably bring up let me see if I can get to yours from here. Because it's still the same account?
Yeah.
No posts yet. What the hell?
What the hell is that?
Who did I tag?
Oh, you know what? You're right. It's not current.
I was gonna say you probably changed it.
It's Moshi.yo. Silly boy. Right there. Who's Mo Sargi? Who's that?
I don't know. Just some random guy on the internet.
What the hell does that say? What did you click on?
Just click. Okay, this is clearly not working out. We'll come back to this afterwards. But I'm gonna just search. I don't know what this is, but Moshi.
It's just funny. It says Moshi Poon. It's .yo right there down there. Yeah.
Found it. But yeah, so I don't know. My grandmother has literally been everywhere. Like she's been all across Europe. And it's funny too, because she just did a cruise to the Caribbean like last year.
That's so good. Who's she going with?
She went with I think some other relatives of mine, like I think it was my grandfather's sister or something. So she went with them because obviously we don't want to let her go alone. She asked us to come, but I'm just like, I can't do it for that long. It's 10 to 14 days. My dad can't take the time off work. I'm everywhere, right? So unfortunately I couldn't do it. Nobody else was able to do it except for this other older couple, which are related to me somehow. And so she goes with them. And she comes back like a couple months later, and she's already like talking about her doing a next one. We're like, Nonna, like you gotta slow down, okay? You're 87 years old. Like we understand that you think that you're still 29, but unfortunately you're not. But yeah, dude, she's been everywhere. Morocco, Egypt, Greece. I mean, obviously she's from Italy. I think the only place that she never really did was like Asia. But she's literally been all over Europe, all over the United States. She's done places in the Caribbean, South America, the freaking North Pole. Like, who gets to say that they've gone to the freaking North Pole? Like, it's amazing. But I think I do get that sense of adventure from her for the most part, which is
God bless, man.
Yeah, but that's pretty much that. I guess one thing that I'm going to kind of go through today are haters on YouTube. Because...
Did you miss maybe you wanted to skip that?
What? The other ones?
Greece.
Huh?
Greece?
Oh, yeah. So we were talking about our adventures in Greece. There was one story that I had that I thought was like really funny. So back in high school, basically I took a trip to Greece with my school, and I think it was in grade 9, so I was like 15 years old. And so basically there was a bunch of students from our school that all ended up going to Greece, and we ended up deciding that we were going to party. So in Greece, excuse me, there is no legal limit for alcohol.
Uh-oh.
So I'm 15. There was some other people part of our group that were like 16, 17 years old, whatever. And basically we end up at this random store, and we were in Athens at the time. And basically we go to the store, we all pick out a bunch of bottles that we want, liquor bottles. I think I was getting whiskey or something. And we put them all on the counter. We're paying for everything. I go outside of the store. I'm standing there, and I can see the teachers that were part of the group that were supervising us walking down the roads towards us. I'm like, oh shit. I run back in the store. I'm like, guys, the teachers are coming. We're like, oh crap. And the only thing that we had was one guy. His name was Brandon. All he had was a camcorder bag. And I think he took the camcorder out. He's like, screw it, we'll just have to fit everything in here. And so we're all like trying to shove these bottles in, and even the lady who worked at the store started to understand what was going on, even though she couldn't speak English. So she's like shoving things as quickly as she can into this one little bag, and we're like, okay, all good, we got it all in. I don't know how we fit all those freaking bottles in there, but we ended up stashing them all in there, and walked to the store. Then the teachers, like, we did it literally just in the nick of time. The teachers were there, and they're like, oh, how's it going, guys? We're like, oh, we're perfectly good, right? So now we got stock of all this liquor, and I think it was later that night or the night afterwards, obviously we decided that was going to be our night to party. So we started drinking, and I remember basically at a certain time every evening the teacher would come and do the rounds, knocking on the doors to check on us. And I think it was I think we were just chilling in our room, and it was actually the husband of our teacher. It was his name was Mr. De Silva or something, and she was Miss De Silva, obviously. And she's like, oh, hoping everything is good in here. And we're like, yeah, we're all good. He's like, I don't give a shit what you guys do, just don't do anything too stupid, right? We'll be downstairs. If you guys need anything, just come and let us know. And we knew that they were downstairs drinking, so we're like, well, if they're drinking, we're gonna drink too, right?
Yeah.
So we started busting out all of our alcohol, and we started getting lit, to say the least. And I do remember him coming back at one point, just for some odd reason. I don't remember why. And I remember one of the guys in my room was just like really fucking hammered already by that time, and I'm just like, please don't give us away, please don't give us away. You'll ruin the entire night. But he didn't give us away, luckily. And I think the reason why he came back was because a bunch of the guys were all hanging out with the girls, like in each other's rooms. So obviously he just wanted to make sure there was no funny business going on. Which there may have been some, but not too much, just somebody kissing or whatever. But basically, we all started getting really, really drunk. By the end of the night, we're all hammered. And we're like, no, we didn't think this through. What do we do with all the bottles? Right? Like, we got to hide these bottles, because if they see this, they're going to know exactly what we were doing. And then by the time we get back to Canada, we're all going to be in deep doo-doo. So I think I grabbed all the bottles and I shoved them all into my pants and pockets and whatever, like literally like in my underwear at this point. And my plan was, I'm going to sneak out of the hotel. This was like 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of Athens. I'm drunk out of my mind. And I like sneak downstairs down the spiral staircase. For some odd reason, there was nobody at the front desk. Luckily, all the teachers were gone. I just tiptoed out of the hotel, and I'm like, I hope this door stays open when I come back. And I come outside, and I'm like, yo, where's all the trash cans at? For some reason, Athens just does not have trash cans. I don't know what the deal was. So I'm like walking around the block. I'm going this way and that way. It took me like 25 minutes, drunk Angelo, wandering downtown Athens to try and find a stinking trash can. Finally found one. I'm like taking things. Luckily no one saw me because I'm like taking things out of my underwear and shit. And they would have been like, what is this dude doing? Right? At like 3 o'clock in the morning.
What is this kid doing?
Right?
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly. So finally we find this trash. I find the trash can, I shove everything in there, and I'm just like jogging back to the hotel. I like tiptoed back in. No one was there. Made it back to the room. Everybody's like staring at me. I'm like, we did it, guys. Mission accomplished. And they never knew that I'm sure they probably had an idea, but
because you guys didn't get in trouble, they didn't care.
Exactly. We were all good kids. Yeah. As if we were good kids. Little did they know the shit that was going on that trip was insane.
Was exactly what you would expect of a bunch of 15-year-olds who were able to get liquor and
exactly
and all that stuff,
exactly. And that's the thing, in Europe there's no real in certain areas there's no real like
is it the same
minimum
in Italy?
I don't know. Everywhere's different. That's the thing. In Europe, it's like in Portugal. I always hear people from Portugal, like when they would go back with their families, like on vacation and stuff, they'd go to Portugal and they could buy alcohol at like 12 years old, and nobody said anything.
Can you imagine that?
Right? Like that's crazy. Well, okay. So to be honest, like when I was young, I was like 12 years old, and I went on vacation with my mom and my grandma. I got lit with this Russian guy. Yeah. Like, dude, I was keeping up, right, at 12 years old. And basically, we're just like chilling there at this bar on this resort. And the guy was he lived in Toronto. He was originally from Russia. We're just having all sorts of random conversation. He's telling me about how Russia, like what it used to be back when they were in the Soviet Union, back in the 90s, and how essentially everybody's basically a rocket scientist. But because it doesn't really pay well, people don't care, so they just do whatever job they can, right? So anyways, we're having this random conversation, and we're having like beer after beer, and then we're pouring the whiskey on the rocks, and we're having shots of vodka, and we're doing this and we're doing that. Then after like 3 hours of just chilling there, this guy's like, oh, by the way, you seem really young. How old are you? I'm like, I'm 12. Right? He's like, what? I'm like, I'm 12. Like, I'm literally 12. He's like, there's no way you're 12 years old. I'm like, no, for real, dude. I like pulled up my ID and showed him. I'm like, I'm legit 12. He's like, dude.
You're like,
what?
Your 7th grade school ID.
Right? Dude, like, no joke. This guy was shocked. He was more shocked that I could actually manage to keep up, right? But oh my God, yeah, I finally stood up, and then that's when it hit me, and I just hobbled on back to the room. And by that time, I think it was like 6 o'clock, 6:30. My mom was in the room with my grandmother, and she opens the door. She's looking at me. She's like, where were you? I'm like, I was just hanging out at the front lobby or whatever, right? And I'm like, I guess I was like swaying a little. And she's like, what's wrong with you? You on drugs? I'm like, no, I swear I'm not on drugs. I may have had a bit to drink though. And then I went to lie down, and yeah, she figured it out. She knew I was drinking. But I mean, dude, it's Dominican Republic. Like, no one's going to say anything. Yeah. No one's going to stop you. But yeah, I got a lot of stupid drunk stories from my past.
We'll have to save some of those for the next live stream.
Probably. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about haters on YouTube, because there are some.
What is really a hater on YouTube? I don't understand, but can you please explain the concept to me? Let me tell you about the haters on my channel.
You have haters on your channel?
Not really, but you know, I don't have a lot of videos up, and I had 2.
Well, you'll get there, let me tell you.
Yeah,
you'll find those haters.
I had 2 videos that did, like, one did like 80,000 views, which is good for me, and then the second one that did really well for me was like 290,000 views. That's like the
amazing.
highest, you know, and for someone who's just starting out, that was really cool, right?
For a channel that's like very, very relatively small, like under 1,000 subscribers, to do like 80,000, then 200,000, like
that 200,000, actually, it was the other way around. The 200,000 went first. The it was after that the channel grew over 1,000 subscribers. So so my video was about, like I said, it's about gaming. So my video was about the PlayStation 5 that came out like 3 years ago now, I think. Yep. And how we're trying to fix something in the PS5 to make it quieter. And all these people that were obviously dissing, like, no, he's a liar. And one thing that I did in the video that I knew would kind of like get some attention was I needed a little container to hold screws because I was removing the fan from the PlayStation 5 and putting it. So I needed like a little container to hold the screws.
You shouldn't do because it voids the warranty, right?
Which does not void the warranty.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
They show you in Sony, the day they released the PlayStation 5, Sony put out a video on YouTube showing this is how you clean the PlayStation 5, including removing the fan from it and vacuuming it out.
Also, I just want to give a quick shout out to Jesse J, who just sent us a super chat. Thank you so much. Hi, first time watching your podcast. Love it. Prayers to your grandma. Hope she gets well soon. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jesse.
Continue.
I don't remember. Anyway, I needed a container. I had a container that was holding some Pokemon cards, and these Pokemon cards were, if anybody knows anything about Pokemon, it was the first series Hollow, Venusaur, Hollow, Blastoise, and Hollow Charmander.
Ooh.
One of each inside this container. I opened up this container. I threw the cards on the floor and I put the screws inside that container. I got maybe 1,000 comments about what I did to the Charizard card.
On the floor. I mean, I don't blame them. How dare you disrespect Charmander like that? How dare you?
So anyway, haters on YouTube are very real, and that's just from a small channel like mine. So I'm very interested to hear about your hater stories.
Yeah, when you have a smaller channel, you tend to notice them a lot more. Like the negative comments. I mean, I don't really find too many negative comments. I mean, some stuff ends up in the held for review section, which we call the abyss. That's the do not enter section of YouTube. So
what that means is that you as a YouTuber, you have your channel, you have the things that the public will see, which is just like exactly what you see. You see the video, you see the comments below. Yeah. But as the YouTuber who posts the video, there's stuff in the back end that other people don't see. For example, there's one section of comments that are held for review, so they don't get seen by everybody right away until you or someone on your channel clicks yes, this is okay to be seen.
Yeah, so when it comes to the held for review section, the problem is that a lot of other good comments end up in that section, unfortunately. So sometimes I'll periodically go through it and obviously get, you have to click the check mark which approves like this comment's good, and then it'll actually get seen on the comment section in YouTube. But it's just weird how sometimes, like, if people use excessive hashtags or excessive emojis or something, it triggers YouTube and automatically puts itself in the held for review section. So it's really annoying. It's kind of like good comments, bad comments, people saying like really, really negative stuff, and people being like totally normal stuff that should be going up on the comment section is just not ending up there. But there was one comment yesterday that was kind of like, people, I guess somebody was claiming that I don't respond to comments, but I respond to as many comments as I possibly can. And most people, they don't understand the amount of work, like how busy we've been just putting all of this together within the last month or whatever. Right? So people don't realize that when I was building all of this, for example, I was also still filming Randonautica videos. I was still out filming haunted videos. I was still out filming vlog channel videos. And I had to keep up with all that to keep you guys obviously engaged and entertained and all that stuff. And it kind of really pissed me off because I'm just like, dude, am I not doing enough? Like, I get it. Like, I would love to be able to sit here and respond to every single comment. But when I went and looked back on my last video, and I'm like, it had 778 comments on that video, and it was still going, right? Like the video wasn't even done getting, you know, the normal amount of views that it normally gets. And I'm just like, dude, I try to respond to as many people as I can. I try to heart as many comments as I can, but it's not easy doing a main channel, Exploring with Angelo, the vlog channel, and then now also the podcast channel, right? I mean, Moshi's got a full-time job, a baby, right? 9-month-old, 10-month-old, a wife. And it's like, I can't like try, like you're already doing as much as you can. Like the fact that you're even here and it's like, 10 p.m. almost, 9:59 at this point. The fact that you're even here doing this is like showing that you really want to do this, obviously, but you also have a life and a full-time job, as do I. Like I have a life. I have 3 channels now. I have a grandmother who's in the hospital. I have a family. I have friends. I have all these extra things that I need to do. And it's like, if you're getting butthurt that I can't respond to every single comment, like just screw off. I'm sorry, but it's not fair. I appreciate the fact that people comment. I love it because you guys point out a lot of stuff that maybe I don't see, or, you know, you're just pointing something out in general or just sending a nice message, and I appreciate it. And I read a lot of, you guys don't realize I read a lot of them, but for me to sit there and try and heart every single one or comment every single one, it would literally be another full-time job. And if you ask any other YouTuber, like relatively decent sized YouTuber to large YouTuber, they would probably say the same thing. As far as other haters on YouTube, oh my God. So let's just say there is this, I was going to say gentleman, but he doesn't really seem like a gentleman. He seems like a very angry person, if you ask me. And they do this thing where they're very biased to begin with. They hate people on YouTube who are kind of in the same hemisphere as myself, right? All with all the other creators that kind of do similar style videos, whether they do Haunted or Randonautica or whatever. There's like a whole group of us that, you know, we all generally know each other, right? So there's like me, Mosargi, you know, Yasko, Omar Gosh, CJ Faison, and anybody else that I might have missed, Franco TV, and the list goes on. Sunny D's. There's a whole group of us, and we all generally know each other. Like we communicate with each other. Sometimes we collab when we're able to, and so on and so forth. What I find is there's these individuals that pop up kind of out of nowhere sometimes, and it's like they have such disdain for their own life that they end up projecting their disdain on their own life onto everybody else, and they pick and choose who they wish to bully. For me, I don't make comments about other YouTubers. I could care less generally, right? Unless it's like politics or something. I generally don't really care what you do on YouTube, whether it's for entertainment purposes or your news or a journalist or whatever the hell you do. I don't really care, right? But the fact that these people go out of their ways, they're out of their way to make videos about us. And there was somebody who recently just made a video about me, and I don't know, they're just saying all this stupid stuff, and it literally didn't make any sense. Like the way this guy was going on about me, it was like if I had walked left, he would have criticized me. Had I walked on my right foot, he would have criticized me. If I'm scratching my left ear, he would have said, no, see, he's lying. He's actually scratching his right ear. It's a mirror image. And then this dude is like posting my footage, altering the audio and the video. You're claiming I'm doing something, but clearly it's evident that you've altered the video. Like I sound like a chipmunk, right? Whether you sped it up or whatever you did, which kind of completely makes you look disingenuous. You cannot, if you're going to criticize footage on the internet, you shouldn't be altering the footage. You look like an idiot, right? Imagine going to court and showing the judge, well, this is the footage of so-and-so doing X, Y, and Z, but all of a sudden the footage is completely altered, and the judge says, well, this doesn't sound like the exact same person, so this is inadmissible in court. To me, it's the same thing, right? You're going to criticize me. Don't do that. That just makes you look like a dumbass at the end of the day. You don't look genuine, you don't look legitimate, and this is not the first time this person's done it, and they're a bully. They've said things about other YouTubers where they want to basically, if they were to see them, I'm not going to say exactly who it was, but if they were to see them, they would physically punch them in the face. So now you're inciting violence at the same time. To me, this person shouldn't even have a freaking channel. And the problem that we're seeing is that these people have not one single creative bone in their body, and they are so completely incapable of creating their own content or thinking of something different that they essentially come after all of us who have busted our butts for 3 to 5 years minimum. Some of us 10 to 12 years we've been on this platform busting our asses. They come after us, they're jealous of some sort of success, and they just that's what they're trying to do. They're essentially trying to use, I hate using this word, but they're trying to use our clout to become successful.
I was gonna say that they're like a clout chaser.
That's exactly what it is.
And they're just doing, all they're doing is making content that's negative about other people's content. That's
exactly. So
horrible.
if they want to criticize me and be like, oh, exploring with Angelo, blah, blah, blah. And they know that if they use that in their title or in tags or whatever, they think that that's actually going to get them to grow their channel. No, let me tell you what it's going to get you. It is going to get you lawsuits and court cases and a lot of fines and a lot of things that you're not going to want to spend money on at the end of the day, especially if you don't have any money to do it. So please tread lightly, be very careful of what you say, because at the end of the day, if something is defamation. So for example, this one video in question that they use as an example, they claimed that I'm like, oh, well, you're not even in Arizona. You said at the beginning of the video you're in Canada, and then they posted it, and all of a sudden I'm getting comments. They're like, see, you're lying because you said that you were in Arizona but really you're in Canada. And I literally commented back saying, go to about halfway in the video and see what happens, see what I said. Basically it was 30 minutes remaining of footage that I had in Arizona that like I was in Canada, and then I just added the other half of the footage. But it's these people are just stupid, man. Like, dude, just mind your own business. Like, I mind my business. I don't make comments about other YouTubers, and I don't have time or patience for this stupid childish drama. I'm just gonna do my thing. If people want to watch my videos, if they like the videos, I don't care. That's it. I just want to entertain people. That's what we're all here for, right? That's why we became YouTubers. Like my friend Brent said it best, the reason why he wanted to do YouTube is because he wants to make people laugh. He wants to make people smile. For me, I mean, I like going out and exploring people, and I know a lot of people who appreciate that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people, unfortunately, that, you know, there's been people who comment that they live almost vicariously through me because they're disabled, they can't get out of the house, and whatever the issue might be, and they kind of live through my camera lens, and that motivates me to want to keep going. And these fucking people who hate that, and the fact that we make money out of it, which is like, dude, if you're doing a job, don't you expect to be compensated at the end of the day? You're not going to go, nobody works for free unless you're doing charity work or whatever. But like, come on, dude, get with the fucking program. You can't think of your own shit to do, so you come after us, and that's basically all there is to it. Like, these people just need to back off. And let me tell you, so far I've put in some complaints to YouTube, so hopefully they take the video down. Yeah. And I've also had to waste my time sending them a cease and desist letter, which I really don't like doing, because it was a waste of my time. I wanted to put out a vlog today, and I couldn't do it because I had to waste my time dealing with this moron, right? Which takes away time from me doing important things. So thank you for that. Yep. But yeah, YouTubers on YouTube haters are the absolute worst. But it is what it is. So, yeah. How's your diet going? You started a diet recently, right?
Just very recently. It's been, today will start the 3rd week, so it's been a full 2 weeks, and I'm down 6 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, man. I mean, I also shaved my back, and that could be it, but no, I'm joking. Yeah, down 6 pounds in about 2 weeks, and it's really, really just eating less. That's all. That is all.
Like, what are you doing? Like intermittent fasting, or
a little bit? It's mainly, literally just making the decision to eat less. So it's a whole lot of
portioning,
right? Thinking, a lot of willpower,
right?
Self-control, because that's very difficult. So it's very easy to you know, to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then that's enough for the day. But then you're sitting on the couch at the end of the day and you're doing whatever, you're planning your day, and you're just like, I want to grab a snack or I want to eat again. You know, it's it can be very tough. So
Yeah.
the just the sheer willpower, the sheer, you know what, I'm not gonna eat that ketchup chips, which if you know in Canada, maybe you don't know that ketchup chips are a thing, and they're really awesome, especially the Doritos ketchup chips.
So apparently they have ketchup chips in the US in certain places.
I would think it's certainly newer then.
Yeah. I've never seen them on my travels, surprisingly, but then again, I don't really like go looking for chips all that often. I'm kind of like, I've been doing keto now since like consistently since last year. Right. Like I've conditioned like you said, willpower. I've kind of conditioned myself now to be very, I don't even think about it anymore. I just like automatically know like, nope, that's carbs. I'm not doing it. I don't do sugar. Like I don't remember the last time I've actually had sugar. I don't drink pop ever, pop soda, whatever you call it. The only thing that I guess my vice really is, you know, my vino and my I don't even really drink Stella. I usually drink light beer, but when I'm doing the show, I'll, you know, have one Stella and then I'll finish it off with some wine. That's basically my only real bad habits. But over the last like year and a half, I have been like nonstop exercising, less lately just because I've been excessively busier than I was before, but I was doing basically the Spartacus workout, which I still do, and then I was also doing Beachbody Insanity, which is like one of the best workouts I've ever freaking done in my entire life.
I just see this comment here, Jeremy Mary, I'm down 70 pounds since August. It's not easy, dude.
Wow, that
good
is
for
impressive.
you. Holy crap, 70 pounds since August is what, 10 months? About
give
good
or take,
Lord,
that's impressive.
Well done,
good on you.
Well done.
And that's, I mean, we should be sharing those stories, right? Like when people they accomplish really good things like that. I believe very strongly in health, not because like, you know, of looks or anything like that, but it just, you generally feel so much better. Right, like last year, I think in April, I think I was 217 pounds. And for me, like, to me, that's overweight enough that I'm like, okay, I got an issue. I got to do something about it.
Can I just say that 17 pounds is like the lowest weight I've ever been since I've been an adult.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not near that right now.
Wow.
I was, as
well,
of
it's okay.
2 weeks ago.
Goals, right?
Exactly. Hashtag goals. I was just talking about that with someone the other day. So as of 2 weeks ago, before I started, I was 276 pounds. Wow. 275 pounds. And so, today I weighed in at 269.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So dropping down to 217 pounds would be awesome.
And is Ramadan coming up too?
No, it just passed.
It just passed. Okay.
Yeah, like 2-3 months ago.
Oh, okay. Because normally when you fast, you generally will lose some weight, right?
Yeah. Super. Like usually like water weight, but absolutely. That helps.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'd say. But yeah, I've gotten very used to intermittent fasting, which was like my main thing when I first started dieting and exercising. So what I would do, I would get up in the morning. The only thing I would have is coffee and very little water.
Black coffee?
Black coffee, yeah. Black coffee. I take MCT oil from BioTrust. I usually, still to this day, I have like a subscription service. So I get it, new box of it every 30 days.
Yes.
And I have like, but for some reason sometimes I forget to take it, so I end up with like extra. So I have like 3 bags now kind of floating around, 1 here, 2 at home, whatever. 1 I usually bring on my travels, so I'll leave it in my bag.
And just quickly, the MCT oil is like a fat to put in your drinks.
Yeah, it's a coconut oil extract, so it's really, really good for you. The one that I like, that I've tried 2 so far, one gave me really bad shits, and the other one, which is the BioTrust one, is good. It gives me like a stomach cramp for like 30 seconds when I first ingest it, but it passes, and it really, really works. It helps you stay full, like feel full.
Got it.
Right? Like I've only eaten once today so far. What the heck did I even eat? I had like veal with like peppers or something. Nice. And come around like 7:30, I'm like, damn, I'm really, really hungry all of a sudden. So I took some of that, put it in my coffee, and it made me feel full. Up until now, I don't feel like I have any problem. I might have to go to A&W after, but for a lettuce wrap burger.
Oh, I haven't tried it yet.
Cheese and bacon, because yeah.
Not trying that. Sorry.
No, don't eat the bacon, but I'll eat the bacon for you. Excuse me. But yeah, I'll do the MCT oil. Helps me out in the mornings when I want to fast, so that way I don't have to eat from the morning until like, certain, like sometimes like 6-7 o'clock. But yeah, last year when I was going hard, I would walk around Professor's Lake for like 4.5 kilometers or whatever the distance is. I would do that at least once a day. Then I would go home. I would do my workout. I would do, Beachbody Insanity for like 40 minutes, or I would do Spartacus workout, or I would do all of the above. There was days where I was so motivated that I would literally do my walk, my 4-kilometer walk. Then I would do Spartacus workout, and then somehow I still managed to do Beachbody Insanity. And I was just like losing.
Those are two very hard workouts. Oh yeah. If anybody doesn't know, those are tough.
Yeah. So
Spartan workout, right?
Oh yeah. No, Spartacus workout.
Spartacus workout. That's the one with the dumbbells.
Yeah. And we got Lamar here. We said went on a 14-day fruit diet, belly fat ran away as of Michael Myers was chasing it. That's a good one. I like that, Lamar. Yeah, so
fruit and me have always not meshed very well. Like if I can't have just fruit in my stomach, it would literally turn it upside down, inside out, and I'd be crapping for probably a week.
I had that issue. I had that issue too. I did a fruit cleanse once, and it didn't go very well. Man. I was just not liking that lifestyle. So, but now I just eat consistently keto, and I've been doing that for like a year. And keto is essentially high fats, moderate proteins, and a very low carbs and low to no sugars.
Yeah.
The main thing for me, especially being Italian, the hard thing is carbs. But I just got so used to it that it doesn't even bother me anymore. Right. Unless I'm absolutely desperate, like I'm out and I absolutely have to eat carbs, I will not do it.
That's the thing about we did keto at maybe a few months before COVID. We were planning for our wedding reception before COVID happened, and we were doing keto, and I think we did it for a good 2 or 3 months, and I lost a bunch of weight, and it was so easy. Keto was easy because I wasn't hungry all the time. It took away all the hungry speech in the back of my mind, because I was with keto, you're high fat and good protein, and you're full. You're full all the time. You don't have the cravings coming from the sugars and the carbs. And that was awesome.
I mean, for me, I absolutely love meat. So when I'm on the road, so for example, my last trip to Texas, I ate, I think we were in Texas for about a week and a half. So when we were in Dallas, I think I ate I ate barbecue just about every single day.
Nice.
For breakfast. Well, I usually don't eat breakfast, but every single day for lunch and dinner. Like we would try a different barbecue place.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then we finally found like a really good one that we really, really liked. And we're like, yeah, we're going to come back here like every freaking day until we basically leave Texas at this point.
Amazing.
So yeah, it was fantastic.
When you're in Texas, you got to do the barbecue.
Oh, dude, you have to do the barbecue. There was one, I remember we went to the Goatman's Bridge, which is kind of like in the middle of nowhere, sort of. And there is like near there, I don't even remember what the hell it was called, but apparently there's like this one dude, I think he's a rancher or something in that area. And he literally owns everything in the area. He's got this crazy cool restaurant that had like some of the most amazing barbecue. Still the best barbecue I've ever had was Interstellar in Austin. OMG.
Sounds out of this world.
It was, let me tell you, when they say Interstellar, it was literally out of this world. It was the best. So they are so busy and they're so limited on how many meats they have. Frank and I walk into this place and they're like, well, we got 1 pound of pulled pork left. I'm like, we'll take it. Like, we literally got there just in time, and we couldn't try anything else because they were completely out. But oh my God, it was so, dude, everything was so good. Like even they give you toast, because that's just like Texas toast. Yeah, it's like a standard when you go to for barbecue. They give you a piece of Texas toast and your sides and whatever. Every single thing that I had in that restaurant was unbelievable. If you guys are in Texas and you guys go to freaking Austin, definitely go and try Interstellar. I hear there's a place, I think it's called Martin's. I have yet to have an opportunity to try it, but I hear it's that one is supposed to be the number one place. But yeah, every time I go, I usually don't eat carbs, but I will give in and try the mac and cheese. Because every barbecue place just typically
mac and cheese at barbecue places is just awesome.
It's amazing, right? It's a thing. Like, for some reason, mac and cheese just goes with barbecue. I don't know why. I think the best mac and cheese that I've had to date, I believe
Mine.
Yours?
Mine.
Your Mac Daddy one?
Mac Daddy, you remember that?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sorry, but I've had like...
I know it's no barbecue Mac, but...
You're gonna see like Mo like literally uses his KD and he mixes in like ground beef and peppers.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like
extra cheese, like 17 different pieces of cheese in there.
Okay, so do you remember how that started? We were starting with that. You were like, we're touring to find different foods. So we did New York, we did Chicago. So we also started at the same time going to each other's houses one night, like, I don't know if it was one night a week, one night a month, and we would create a dish for all the friends to try. And mine was Mac Daddy, which was craft dinner, like 6-8 boxes of craft dinner, a bunch of extra powdered cheese from a store called Bulk Barn in Canada, and you were adding ground beef and the mushrooms and onions and peppers, red peppers, hot peppers, all that stuff, and then adding tomato sauce and other stuff to mix it in, and it's just it's something.
It was definitely something.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I have a picture on my Instagram. I wish I posted to YouTube as much as I posted to Instagram.
Right? Like, dude, you should just do the recipe. Like, okay, don't use KD and don't use that. You know what it is with KD is that the cheese sucks. That's the problem with KD.
Yeah.
If you were to use, remember when we used to go to Mosaic?
Oh man.
Oh, that place was amazing. So there was this place in Brampton. It used to be called Mosaic Mediterranean. It was ranked #1, which is, is not that hard to do in Brampton because most of the food places in Brampton are pretty shit to begin with. But this place, they had like amazing Mediterranean dishes. And this guy, what was it? It was 4 cheese, right? 4 cheese.
I think it was, yes. And it wasn't even macaroni.
No, he would use like whatever he had.
Yeah. Was it penne?
Yes, that's what it was. It was penne. But yeah, so basically this dude would make like, it was more like a plate full of cheese with some pasta in it. But it was so amazing.
The cheese mix was so good.
Yeah, but unfortunately the place got bought out and new owners kind of ran that thing into the ground, and we
went there often.
Oh yeah, dude, we were there like every week or two.
At minimum once a month. Yeah.
Yeah, we would go there or we would go to Krabby Joe's. But Krabby Joe's, you remember Krabby Joe's? So we had this tradition every Wednesday night. So they used to do, I think it was Monday to Friday, they used to have half price appetizers as long as you buy a drink.
After
right?
9 p.m.
After 9 p.m. Yeah. So we were there every Wednesday. So Wednesday nights, we were, involved in our business at the time. We would do meetings every Wednesday night. So that's why we were already together. We're like, screw it. Let's just go and go to Krabby Joe's. And basically Krabby Joe's is like a Canadian franchise. It's really shit. Like, there's nothing spectacular about Krabby Joe's.
I don't even know if it's what might be like one location left or something. It was never a huge franchise, but it was what would you compare it to? Like a small
shit?
Jack Astor's? Like yeah, like a far less successful, far less good Jack Astor's, maybe?
I guess so, yeah.
Something like that? Like a not nearly as good Outback?
Yeah.
No, far more American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
so we would go there for the
it was very pub style, right?
Yeah.
So, but it was not good. Like, there was nothing. It was just cheap. That was the thing.
That's
it was cheap. We were broke as all hell at the time, and we were just like, we would go there, and you could eat like a good portion. It was loaded cheese fries. So it was basically French fries with cheese. I think it was like green onions, ranch sauce.
You're talking to me right now.
All that good stuff. It was like a buttermilk ranch.
Special ranch sauce is what I was just going to say.
Special ranch.
Oh, man.
And so we would go there every freaking Wednesday night and we would feast on these half price loaded cheese fries, and it was just so amazing. And yeah, I don't know if any of those places even exist anymore. It's
Not sure.
those days I think are over. I wouldn't do that anymore anyways. That's just
it's
that
not
stuff was so
keto.
unhealthy. No, it's definitely got to stick to the keto. But
I may or may not be searching up Krabby Joe's locations right now. I may or may not be driving to Kitchener tonight.
Oh my god. No, there's one in Kitchener still?
Beamsville as well.
Okay. We're going to do a
Krabby
fan
Joe's.
meetup in Beamsville. The Krabby Joe's.
Okay, Beamsville, Brantford, Kitchener, Waterloo is 2 different
Oh
locations.
my god. That's
Oh, there's-
amazing.
I don't believe this is quite a few.
Is
Woodstock, Listowel, Stratford, London, Exeter. Good lord.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, Sarnia. Let's go to Sarnia tonight.
We're going to Sarnia tonight? Oh boy. That's a drive.
What were we talking about? Food?
Yeah, something like that. Keto
Diets.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Krabby Joe's tonight because I'm on a diet.
That's true. So what is your diet like mainly? So it's just based on
No
mostly
diet.
portioning?
Honestly, no diet. It's just like literally portions.
Okay.
Like yeah, deciding to eat less.
So it's
and
more
to-
like watching your calorie intake essentially.
yeah,
for the most
without
part.
literally counting the calories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not limited to like watching your carbs and sugars, or is that part of it?
No, I'm just trying to make better decisions.
Okay.
And yeah, like just I really am focused. I've never done this.
Mhm.
I'm really trying to focus on. And then okay, so I should mention that I'm totally getting this from my wife.
Mhm.
This is like, you have a kid now. I don't want you to die young. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yes, you're right. I should stick around. All bad decisions all
Yeah.
the time in terms of food. Just I'm hungry and I want it, and my favorite food is one of two things: either pizza or burgers. Right? That's evident, and I just want to make better decisions, healthier food, and I'm really focusing on literally the decisions, the willpower, the choices, just not falling into being lazy and using Uber Eats.
Mhm.
To get whatever the hell I want. Yeah. So it's not anything specifically restrictive. It's just trying to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, like my kind of go-to, if it's quick, because I'm so busy these days, is kind of like salad and chicken shawarma.
On top, like mixing in.
Yes, yeah. I just find it's just the easiest thing to do. I mean, Lizzie's is open until 2 a.m.
No,
It sucks. I know it freaking sucks, but I mean, it's a salad and chicken with garlic
So
sauce.
I don't want to diss anything. I can't like diss anything, but Lizzie's shawarma is
garbage.
I don't want to say that. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to. So it's it's a franchise. I don't know if it's anywhere outside of Canada. I don't know if it's outside of Ontario,
I don't
Canada.
think so.
It's okay. So it was new a few years ago, less than 5 years ago. It was new, and we tried it quite a few times.
Yep.
I've tried it maybe literally a handful of times, probably less than 5 times. Every single time I tried it, it was garbage. It was terrible. It was so
is,
bad.
yeah.
And it was not like I
know.
was trying it after 10 p.m. every day. No.
It doesn't matter though. If it could be 8 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 11 p.m., 1:30 in the morning. It doesn't matter. It's always trash.
That's what I'm
just
saying.
That it's very bland. I feel like they're just not cooking things properly. Their spices are not done properly. Their salads, boring, right? Like what their version of a Caesar salad is, they don't even use like actual dressing. It's literally just, and they're confused every time I ask because I don't eat carbs. So when I ask, so the way they do it is they put lettuce, which I think they use iceberg lettuce if I'm not mistaken. And then they put, okay, for those of you who know the kitchen, romaine is a Caesar salad, not iceberg. Iceberg is garden salads, Greek salads,
Yeah.
every other kind of salad. Romaine salad is used in Caesars.
That's right.
Anyways, so basically all they do is they put like basic iceberg lettuce, and they put croutons, and then they put all the chicken on top, and they put all the garlic sauce. And normally if you ever had a Caesar salad, you put, I mean, it's not that complex, right? But they're croutons. They're not even really croutons. They're like these weird, like twisty red things that they put in there.
Is
They're
it
not,
pita bread that they're putting?
it looks kind of like dried up pita bread. That's
Okay.
probably what they're doing. And so when the pita bread gets old, they probably bake it and then they chop it into, or they probably chop it in pieces, then bake it so it hardens and then it looks like croutons, so they say. But it's
So one
not.
popular salad in the Middle East, you've probably had it at my house. My mom would always make It's called fattoush, which is the salad with like olive oil and lemon, and they fry pita bread. And so it dries out. It's like a chip, pretty much. That could be what they're using for
probably what they're using, but it's not a proper Caesar. That's my point.
That's right, 100%.
You're calling it a Caesar salad. It's literally just lettuce with chicken and garlic, and you have to ask for the Parmesan cheese to be put on there, just so that way it's actually done like a proper Caesar salad, which is supposed to have Parmesan, yeah. A proper Caesar has Parmesan.
I don't have Caesar often because it usually has bacon, so it's not something I would usually order as well.
But Laziz doesn't do bacon, obviously. So,
Laziz is a halal spot, which is a positive of it. But as well, most Caesar dressings, if they're proper, will have like anchovies in the dressing. So I find it very funky. Yeah. So I'm picky when it comes to food, but I'm also sensitive when it comes to food. So I don't do a lot of fishes, which I think we spoke about in our first video where we had sushi in Japan, and that was like the best fish I ever had in my life. Yeah. But I can't do most fishes here. It's not the same. Can't do lobster. Can't do crab. I can have shrimp because it's not strong. But I would not. You did lobster mac and cheese. It was not for me. we did the lobster. I ordered the lobster mac and cheese when we were in. It was either Peggy's Cove or
we were in Cape Breton,
Nova Scotia.
We were on the Cabo Trail at the time. It was like the only restaurant anywhere.
Were we celebrating something? I feel like we were out to dinner for some specific reason. So. Maybe just Janice just took us out.
Oh, it might have been maybe for your birthday? But that was in Halifax when I had the gigantic 1.5 pound lobster.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. Yeah, that might have been for your birthday or something. I remember there was a place, I think it was called The Warehouse.
And we were just off the water, just on the water, eating on the water, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, that place had like freaking incredible friggin' lobster. Holy crap, man. So for those of you that don't know, the East Coast is the best for lobster. So, and also keep in mind that anything over 2 pounds, you do not. Typically 1.5 pounds is ideal for any lobster. And the reason why is because the bigger the lobster, the older the lobster, which means that the actual meat itself is old. It's like tough. Right. Yeah. So you definitely don't want that. And I'm actually just trying to find something right now, but
it was such a good spot. It was so much fun, man.
Yeah.
That was such a good trip, and the food was not for me. I feel so bad because like it's like a thing, like you said, like the East Coast, you're going out there because you're trying to have amazing, which is good out there, lobster and crab and all that, and I tried, man. I even like we said, it was mac and cheese. I was trying to enjoy it, but it was lobster, and it took over the entire flavor of the meal, and I just couldn't. I don't even remember what I was eating at the time. I guess I was just eating breads and sandwiches and stuff.
Well, that's the thing with seafood in general, is it's relatively strong. So yeah, it definitely like overpowers everything. But I just remember there was one day we were on the Cabo Trail, and there was this one specific restaurant. It's right on the water. Right, that's how I remember it. And oh man, they had some of the best fish and chips I've ever had in my life. Yeah, and fish and chips is actually relatively easy to do. The trick to fish and chips, first of all, is just the fish. The fish needs to be really, really good. So for you, because you don't really like fishy fish, like that very overpowering kind of strong tasting, for you would be halibut, which is more expensive. But haddock is like the traditional fish and chips, just because it's cheaper. Halibut is like super expensive now. But
so haddock would be more fishy.
Yes.
Okay.
I find anyways. Got it. Some people would probably argue differently, but I find halibut is much less strong, I guess, like odor, taste wise, that type of thing. But the easiest thing to do with fish and chips, it's so simple. You use literally flour, water, magic baking powder, and a little bit of mustard. That's the trick. That's all you gotta do. Breading? That's how you make breading for fish and chips. That's the very traditional way, right? And don't do it super thick either. The mustard is just for a little bit of added flavor and color. The reason why when you get fish and chips it's yellow, when you fry flour, it doesn't normally come out yellow. The reason why it comes out yellow is because you add a little bit of mustard to it that gives it that color and extra taste. So if you guys ever want to try and fry some fish and chips at home, be very careful, because frying fish and chips is kind of, you can hurt yourself. So
The oil splatter.
yeah, exactly. I mean, just because the way you do it. So when we used to do it in the restaurant was we would do it by hand, right? So we'd batter the fish. We wouldn't use tongs or anything like that. We would literally just put it in the deep fry. You'd hold it in the boiling oil.
Your fingers are in the oil. Your
fingers are just holding the top part of the actual fish itself, right? Until you hold it there for like 20 to 30 seconds, until you can finally feel that the fish has its own buoyancy, and then eventually it'll just float on its own. So, but you got to be very careful when you do that, because you could literally burn your freaking fingertips off.
I bet.
But yeah, I mean, I used to work in a restaurant. I owned a restaurant at some point, so that's how I know how to make fish and chips batter, which is very easy, and and also how to cook a fish. But yeah,
you taught me how to cook chicken the first time, chicken breast.
Taught you how to cook a chicken?
Over the phone.
Really?
So my parents went away I was living at home with my parents, so I was alone, and they went away on a cruise, and I was like, guys, tonight I'm learning how to cook. And I think I was talking to the group chat, and I was like, what do I do with chicken breast? How do I make sure I don't die?
Cooking. Just don't burn it.
That's and you just told me what to do with it to make sure that it was
oh my god,
to make sure that it wasn't pink inside. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Michael J, what does that say? Can a geezer. Hi Angelo, I just tuned in. Wouldn't blame you if you quit Randonautica, but if you do continue playing, you should not go alone. Stay safe. It's hard to find people to go with. That's the problem. Like, people don't realize,
especially at 2 a.m.
Yes, especially. I mean, so the thing is with like Brad, he lives well over an hour away from me. He's got his own family. He's got a full-time job, and I mean, he can't be down there every single night. So I don't really have any like local people that I could really bring with me. Is what it is, but honestly, it's whatever. Like I said before, I'll probably keep doing it for a little while, and then I'll make a decision later on. I don't think I'll stop doing Randonautica anytime soon, at least not for like a few months. I'm going on vacation soon anyway, so I'm going to Alberta. So I'm gonna like bank up a bunch of videos and just go have a really good time. Yeah. I'm gonna go with my friend Mike and Anthony. Should be fantastic. But I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream tonight. We had actually more topics like kind of on the list, but we've already killed 2 hours. That's amazing.
Yeah, it went so fast.
It went so quickly. So I hope
thank you everybody for A, watching, B, commenting, talking to us. That was really fun. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. Let's see how many we got 101 people watching right now.
Wow, dude, thank you everybody. Holy, on our first live stream.
Right? Like, people
love you. Let me tell you.
I mean, I think they're loving both of us. Like, just our ability to jive. I mean, Mo and I have known each other for such a long period of time. It's been like 17 years now that we've known each other.
2008, right? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So it's been quite a long time. We both got stories that sometimes we don't immediately remember off the top of our head, but there's just so many things. Like, there's so many things going on in the world that it's like, how do you not like talk about all this stuff? But I did have a little bit of an idea, because unfortunately on YouTube there's certain things that you have to kind of self-censor on, and I hate doing that. I hate censoring myself, not being able to talk about things that are considered controversial when they're really not even controversial at all. We should be having debates and conversations about crazy things in the world. But my idea essentially was to add extra after hours content, and where I'm going to have to do it is on Rumble, because Rumble does not censor us. So we do have a channel set up there. It is called The Brave Podcast as well. So if you search us up on rumble.com, you'll find us there. We're also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but we're probably going to do an extra like half an hour session after this, and then obviously Mo's got to go home and take care of the ladies, and then go to work in the morning. So we'll do a quick half an hour session probably there after that, and that'll be up on Rumble either tonight or tomorrow. We'll see when exactly, and I'm gonna see what else I end up doing tonight. I gotta edit a video for tomorrow.
Good lord, I just tried to search for Rumble on the Google Play Store and I searched Bumble by mistake.
Isn't Bumble like a dating website?
App,
Yeah, that was another topic I wanted to go into, online dating, because I have so many weird experiences with online dating. But
we did miss that one.
Yeah, well, I didn't miss it. I just kind of realized that we were approaching like the 2-hour mark. So
no, of course.
We'll just save it for the next one. But yeah, we're loaded for guests like the next week and a half, basically until I go away.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's going to be a lot more episodes of the Brave podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.